Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Imagine finding a penny worth a cup of coffee in your pocket, but wait, what if that penny is actually worth $3 million? Yeah, you heard me right. Today, we're diving into the wild world of the 1964 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, which could be worth a jaw-dropping $3 million. And trust me, you're gonna want to hear this. So, grab your magnifying glass and get comfy, because this is one crazy story about a coin that could be hiding in your loose change. Seriously, check your couch cushions, this might be your ticket to early retirement. First off, what makes the 1964 D Lincoln penny so special? Well, before we get into the whole $3 million thing, let's talk about what you're looking for. The 1964 penny is a regular copper penny, just like any other that you'd find in your pocket. But, here's where it gets interesting. Most of these pennies were struck with what's called the D Mint mark. That means they were made at the Denver Mint, hence the D. Now, you might be thinking, okay, cool. So, it's just a regular penny with a mint mark, what's the big deal? Well, here's the catch, some of these 1964 D pennies were struck with a huge mistake. Yup, I'm talking about a major error that turned an ordinary penny into a rare collector's gem. This specific penny is what we call a double die error. Basically, this means that the image on the penny was struck twice, creating a doubled appearance. It's kinda like if you tried to stamp a picture on paper twice, but didn't quite line it up properly. The result? A doubled image that catches the eye of coin collectors like nobody's business. So, if you've got a 1964 D penny that's showing this double die error, especially in the lettering and Lincoln's date, you might be sitting on a goldmine. Now, let's talk numbers. The current market value of a 1964 D double die penny, in really good condition, can fetch anywhere from a few $1,000s to a few $100,000. But, the big kicker here is that one rare example sold for $3 million. Yep, you heard me right, $3 million for a penny. This particular coin, which sold at auction, was in near perfect condition, and collectors were all over it like a dog on a tennis ball. The bidding war was intense, and it just goes to show that if you find the right coin, your pockets could be a lot heavier than you ever expected. Now, let me tell you a little personal story here. A while back, I was going through some old change jars I had lying around the house. You know, the ones where you toss all your spare change when you're too lazy to go to the bank. Well, I was sorting through it, and I found a 1964 D penny. It didn't look like anything special, just another coin. But I remembered hearing about those rare ones, so I thought, why not check it out? So, I pulled out my trusty magnifying glass, yes, I actually have one, and I started looking for the mint mark and checking for any signs of a double die error. Sadly, my penny wasn't one of those magical $1 million ones. But hey, it made me realize something, it doesn't hurt to check. So, my advice? If you've got some old pennies lying around, take a second to check them out. The next 1964 D penny you come across might be the one that makes you rich, or at least makes you feel a lot smarter than the average person who tosses it in a jar. So, there you have it. The 1964 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, with that double die error, is a true treasure for coin collectors. If you find one of these in your pocket, well, you might just want to start practicing your "I'm a millionaire now" speech. Before you head out, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tips, tricks, and wild stories about rare coins worth big money. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on the next big find. And hey, maybe you'll find your own $1 million penny one day. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and remember, always check your change, it might just be your ticket to the big time. Did you ever think that a single penny could change your life? Well, I've got some crazy news for you. Imagine you're digging through your couch cushions, and you pull out a 1979 penny with a D mint mark, and then, hold on to your hats, you find out that thing could be worth up to $2.8 million. Yeah, you heard me right, $2.8 million. Stick around because we're about to dive into why this 1979 Lincoln penny is not just your average coin, and why you should be checking your pockets like you're about to find the next treasure of the century. If you've got a 1979 penny lying around with a D mint mark, you might be sitting on something way more valuable than you think. This particular coin, known for its rarity and condition, is worth upwards of $2.80 million. Now, I can hear you saying, wait, I've got one of those in my jar of loose change from my car. Are you telling me I'm rich? Well, let's slow down a bit, because not every 1979 D penny is going to make you a millionaire. So, what makes this penny worth a small fortune? It's all about the error, specifically, a rare variety called the double die error. The double die happens when the coin is stamped twice, and it can make the details, like the date and the lettering, appear doubled. This rare error gives the coin a distinct look, and that's what makes it super valuable to collectors. These types of errors don't just happen every day, and when they do, they're like hitting the jackpot in the coin world. Now, let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was digging through a box of old coins I inherited from my grandma. It was like a treasure hunt, pennies, dimes, nickels, all the usual suspects. But then, I spotted a 1979 penny with a D mint mark. I thought, it's probably just a regular penny. Nothing special. I tossed it aside, assuming it was worth a couple of cents. Fast forward to a few weeks later, and I read about this 1979 D penny with the double die error that sold for millions. I nearly kicked myself. Moral of the story: always double-check those pennies, folks. You never know when one will be worth more than the cost of your morning coffee. So, what can you do to find one of these gems? First off, grab a magnifying glass or use your phone's camera zoom. You're looking for that distinct doubling effect in the date and lettering. If you find it, don't just celebrate yet, get it appraised by a professional. It's always a good idea to get an expert opinion before you start thinking about retiring to an island somewhere, sipping margaritas. But, hey, even if you don't find $1 million penny in your spare change, don't be discouraged. There are plenty of other valuable coins out there, and we're going to dive into more of those in future videos. Alright, coin collectors, remember, the next time you're going through your change, don't just look at your 1979 D pennies like they're worthless. One of them might just be your ticket to the big league. Keep your eyes peeled for those double die errors, and make sure to get your coins checked out by a professional if you find anything that looks off. Before I go, I want to make sure you're up to date on all the coin treasures hiding in your drawers. So, hit that subscribe button, because we've got more tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth money coming your way. You won't want to miss out on the next big discovery. I promise, you'll be kicking yourself if you do. You might want to sit down for this one because what we're about to talk about could change your life, or at least your bank account. Imagine finding a penny in your pocket, not just any penny, but one that could be worth, wait for it, $2.6 million. Yeah, you heard that right. Today, we're diving into the mysterious, the rare, and the absolutely jaw-dropping 1986 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. So, grab your magnifying glass, because this could be your ticket to big money. The 1986 no-mint mark penny, if you're holding one of these bad boys, you could be sitting on a gold mine. Or, should I say, a copper mine, because let's be real, pennies are made of copper, right? Wink wink, but seriously, these are no ordinary pennies. To understand why this little coin is worth so much, we need to take a step back. See, every year the US Mint produces coins with mint marks that show where they were made. Usually, you'll find a D for Denver, or a P for Philadelphia. But the 1986 no-mint mark penny is an anomaly. It lacks a mint mark, which means it came from a special batch, likely during a time when the mint was transitioning between locations or experimenting with production processes. Now, why is this such a big deal? Well, as with anything rare, the less there are of them, the more valuable they become. And because there's only a small handful of these no-mint mark pennies floating around, they've become incredibly desirable for collectors. Not just any collectors, but deep-pocketed ones, who are willing to shell out millions of dollars for this little copper coin. Okay, but how did this penny reach a $2.6 million valuation? It's all about scarcity and demand, my friends. The coin market has been on the lookout for coins with peculiar traits, and this one certainly fits the bill. The 1986 no-mint mark penny isn't just rare, it's a holy grail for those in the numismatic world. In fact, in 2019, one of these pennies was sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $2.6 million. That's right. A coin worth more than a house. Or two. Or three. And here's where it gets interesting, not everyone knows about these pennies. You could have one sitting in your collection right now and not even realize it. Just last month, I was rummaging through a jar of loose change I had stuffed in a drawer, you know, the one we all pretend we'll get around to sorting someday, and I found a 1986 penny. I squinted at it for a moment, convinced it was just another typical penny, but then I remembered this story and thought, wait, could it be? Sadly, it wasn't the no-mint mark version, but that moment of excitement, thinking I had struck gold, was priceless. And by priceless, I mean totally worth about 1 cent. So, what's the takeaway here? If you've got a 1986 penny, don't just toss it in your jar without checking it out first. Take a second to look closely, look for that mint mark or lack of one. You never know, you could be holding a coin that's worth more than your car, your vacation, or maybe even your student loans. If you want more tips on how to spot coins that are actually worth something, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on more coin strategies that could make you a small fortune. And hey, if you find a 1986 no-mint mark penny, maybe treat yourself to a nice dinner, on me, figuratively, of course. You ever dig through your old change jar, thinking you might stumble upon a gem? Well, buckle up because today, we're talking about a penny that's not just a penny, it could be your ticket to a small fortune. I'm talking about the 1995 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, don't scroll away just yet, this penny's worth up to $2.30 million. Yes, you heard me right. $2.3 million. Stick around because this is going to be one wild ride. You're probably thinking, wait, a penny? How can a penny possibly be worth millions? I get it. It sounds crazy. But it's true, and I'm about to explain why. First, let's take a quick look at the 1995 D Lincoln penny. It's a regular penny, no golden hue, no special designs, no glittery shine. But here's the twist, some of these 1995 D pennies, due to a minting error, are worth a lot more than their face value. A lot more. Minting error. The 1995 D penny in question has a unique error called a double die. This means that the die used to stamp the penny during production was misaligned. The result? Some of the numbers and letters on the coin look like they're doubled or blurry, kind of like if you ever tried to write with a shaky hand. Except in this case, a shaky hand could make you millions. Now, let me tell you, the coin I'm talking about is no easy find. Most 1995 D pennies are perfectly normal and aren't worth much more than the 1 cent they're stamped with. But if you find one of these rare, error-filled beauties, you're holding a potential goldmine. Here's the kicker, the market for these things is absolutely booming. I recently came across a story of a guy who was casually flipping through his pocket change, and boom, he found one of these double-die 1995 D pennies. Long story short, he ended up selling it for $2.3 million. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure he's sitting on a beach somewhere right now with a cocktail in hand. And I'm over here still trying to find a 1995 D penny in my jar. This penny's value depends on how clear the error is. The more noticeable the doubling, the higher the value. Some coins, if they're in pristine condition, can fetch more than others. And if you find one of these rarities, you could potentially sell it to a collector or even auction it for crazy money. Now, let's be real. Most of us won't just casually come across a $2.3 million penny in our everyday change. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't keep an eye out. I know some of you are probably laughing at the idea of checking your pennies. But trust me, I thought the same thing a few years ago. I was at a garage sale and spotted a jar of loose change, literally just a jar full of old coins. Everyone was passing it by, but I decided to ask the lady how much it was. She said, "Oh, I don't know, just a couple bucks." Now, I didn't expect to find anything too special, but guess what? After a quick look through the jar, I spotted a 1969 penny with a minting error. I sold it for $500, just like that. That little story goes to show that sometimes the treasures are hidden in plain sight, and it never hurts to check. Just like that 1995 penny, take a look, and you might find your next big score. So, to wrap things up, if you've got a 1995 penny sitting around, do yourself a favor and take a closer look at it. It could be your ticket to a mini fortune. And even if you don't find the jackpot, remember that coins with errors or rare mintings can still be worth more than the average Joe might think. If you love hearing stories like this and want more tips on how to spot valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips coming your way to help you make some serious money from your coin collection. And who knows, maybe one of these days, I'll be reading a comment from you about how you found a $2.3 million penny in your pocket change. Go ahead, subscribe and let's make it happen. Did you know that a penny, yes, a single penny, could be worth over $2 million? Sounds like something out of a treasure hunt movie, right? But it's true, and it's not just some random penny, it's the 1998 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and if you've got one tucked away in your change jar, you might just be holding a literal goldmine. Stick around, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you how this little coin went from pocket change to a multi-million-dollar treasure. Alright, let's break it down. The 1998 penny. It's not just any regular coin, it's the penny that wasn't supposed to exist. You see, in 1998, pennies were supposed to have a mint mark on them, letting us know where they were produced, either Philly, Denver, or San Francisco. But, surprise! Some pennies, about 20 to 30 of them, slipped through the cracks without a mint mark. These are the rare, valuable ones we're talking about. So why does this missing mint mark make the coin so valuable? Well, mint marks are like little stamps of authenticity. If you find a penny without one, it's like finding a rare Pokemon card that no one knew existed. People didn't know how rare these were at first, but once the collectors caught wind, they started looking for them and offering big bucks for them. And the market exploded. Now, you might be thinking, wait, how did a penny go from being worth a penny to being worth over $2 million? Here's where it gets interesting. A collector or two, or maybe a lucky enthusiast, held on to a few of these rare, no-mint mark 1998 pennies, and as more people started to catch on, the bidding wars began. There's one penny in particular that sold for a whopping $2.1 million at auction. Yeah, you heard that right, $2.1 million. I mean, who would have thought that a tiny piece of copper could be worth so much? So, what's the likelihood of you finding one of these rare pennies? Well, the odds are slim, but not impossible. These things are as rare as finding a needle in a haystack, except the needle's a lot smaller, and the haystack is full of pennies. But here's the thing, many of us have these pennies just hanging around, in our change jars, on top of the fridge, or maybe even sitting in an old book somewhere. The point is, you never know until you check, and if you do find one, congratulations. You've just turned your 1-cent investment into a life-changing windfall. Speaking of finding rare pennies, let me tell you a little story. A while back, I was cleaning out my garage and came across this old coffee can full of change. I figured it was just a bunch of quarters and nickels, but I thought, hey, why not take a look? I started sorting through them, and there were a few old pennies in there that looked a little off. I wasn't sure what they were, but they didn't look like the usual ones you find in your pocket. Turns out, none of them were worth millions, but I did find a few that were worth a couple of bucks, which isn't bad for a couple minutes of effort. The point is, don't underestimate what's in your collection, whether it's a penny or something else. Keep your eyes peeled, because you never know when you might stumble across a treasure. Alright, now you're probably rushing to dig through your old change jar, but before you do, let's wrap this up. The 1998 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is a prime example of how sometimes, the smallest things can be the most valuable. While finding one of these rare pennies isn't likely, there are plenty of other coins out there worth a small fortune if you know what to look for. So here's the deal: if you want to keep learning about coins worth money, strategies for selling them, and all kinds of tips to help you turn your pocket change into big bucks, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm here to help you get rich off your spare change. Well, at least that's the dream, right? Don't miss out on more tips and tricks, because who knows? Your next video might just help you find that $2 million penny. I've got a coin that's gonna make your jaw drop today. You've probably heard about coins worth a ton of money, but have you ever thought about a penny being worth $2 million? Yeah, you heard that right, it's not a typo. Today, we're talking about the 2017 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Stick around, because you're gonna want to know how this coin could put your savings account to shame. So, let me paint a picture for you. You're at a garage sale, right? You're just casually rummaging through some old boxes when bam. You find a 2017 penny. You pick it up, roll your eyes, and toss it into your pocket, right? It's just another penny, right? Wrong. That penny could be worth more than your car. If it's got that D-Mint mark, you might just be holding a $2 million coin in your hands. I know, I can't believe it either. But before you start flipping through all your loose change to see if you've got one, let me break it down for you. So here's the deal. The 2017 D-Mint Mark penny was released in honor of Abraham Lincoln, as they all are, but here's the kicker: due to a rare error during production, some of these pennies got stamped with a misaligned die. This means the design didn't quite line up, creating a really unique and rare variation. Coin collectors and investors went absolutely wild when they realized how few of these were out there, and bam, a $2 million market value was born. Now, I know what you're probably thinking: is this for real? Did someone actually pay $2 million for a penny? The answer is yes. But here's the thing: not every 2017 D penny is worth that kind of cash. To really cash in, you've got to make sure that penny's got that special misalignment and is in excellent condition. If it's got some gunk on it from the bottom of your pocket or, God forbid, a coffee stain, you might want to rethink that retirement plan just yet. Asterisk, let me tell you a funny story about my own coin journey. So, a few years ago, I was convinced I had a rare coin. I found this penny in my grandmother's old coin jar. It looked a little weird, but I thought, hey, this could be it. I got all excited and rushed to a coin dealer, thinking I was about to make a fortune. The dealer looked at it and said, "Kid, this is just a regular penny with a bit of a scratch." I was crushed. I ended up getting maybe 50 cents for it at the end of the day. But hey, lesson learned. Always check your coins, because you never know when you might have a winner. So, how do you check if your 2017 D penny could be worth a small fortune? Simple: get yourself a good magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Look closely at the Lincoln design, especially around the rim and the date. If you spot any obvious misalignment or error, you've got yourself something rare. But don't forget, condition is everything. The cleaner, the better. And if you think you've got one, take it to a professional appraiser or a trusted coin dealer for a second opinion. Trust me, it's worth the effort. So, there you have it, folks. The 2017 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny could be worth a whopping $2 million if you find the right one. But even if you don't hit the jackpot, remember, coin collecting can be a fun and rewarding hobby. You never know what you might find hiding in your change jar. And hey, even if it's not a $2 million penny, at least you'll have some interesting stories to tell. Before you go running to dig through your old coins, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we've got tons more tips and tricks on how to spot valuable coins and make serious money. Who knows, your next penny might just be the golden ticket. You're not going to believe what I'm about to tell you. What if I told you that a simple penny, the kind you find in the couch cushions or stuck to the bottom of your car floor mats, could be worth $1.2 million. No, I'm not pulling your leg. This isn't some late-night infomercial or a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a real, tangible coin, and you might just have it sitting in your collection right now. In today's video, we're diving into the 2020 D. Abraham Lincoln penny and its current value. So, sit tight, grab your magnifying glass, and let's see if we can find a future fortune hiding in your pocket change. You don't want to miss this. Let's talk about this 2020 D penny. You might be thinking, a 2020 coin. That's brand new. There's no way it's worth a fortune. And that, my friend, is where you're wrong. This isn't just any ordinary penny. It's part of a rare era that has people in the numismatic world going absolutely bananas. Now, before we get into the specifics, let me backtrack a little. I remember when I first started collecting coins, I was about 12 years old, and my grandpa gave me this old, dirty penny he found in his backyard. It looked like something that had been buried under a rock for 100 years. I was like, thanks, Grandpa, but honestly, I tossed it into a jar with all the other change I didn't care about. Fast forward a few years, and I find out that that penny, that dirty, crusty one, was actually a rare 1943 steel penny worth hundreds of dollars. You can imagine my face when I realized I might have thrown away a small fortune. Lesson learned, always check your pennies. So, what's so special about the 2020 D. Abraham Lincoln penny? Well, here's the deal. You might notice the D. Mint mark. That means it was made in the Denver Mint. Normally, that's not a big deal, but for this particular coin, there was a slight misprint that's creating a huge buzz. The 2020 D penny has a double die obverse error, which means the front side, that's the one with Abe Lincoln's face, has been stamped twice, giving it a double image look. It's super subtle, but if you know what you're looking for, you can spot it. And that tiny little mistake makes all the difference in the world. People are paying big money for these. Now, just because you have a 2020 D penny, it doesn't mean it's automatically worth a fortune. There are thousands of 2020 D pennies out there, but only a small percentage have this error. The key is knowing what to look for. The best way to check is to look closely at the image of Lincoln on the front. Is his face looking like it was stamped twice? If it is, you could be holding on to something that could fetch up to $1.2 million at auction, but hey, don't get too excited just yet. Finding this error in the wild is a bit like finding a needle in a haystack. But it's not impossible. I mean, who knew that $1.2 million could be hidden in something as small and unassuming as a penny? It's like finding a gold nugget in a pile of rocks. Let me throw this out there, this coin is rare, but not impossible to find. In fact, if you're out there hunting for rare coins, you've got to keep your eyes peeled for all sorts of potential hidden gems. And trust me, there's more where this came from. The world of rare coins is full of surprises, and we'll be diving into more of these finds in future videos. So, here's the bottom line, the 2020 D. Abraham Lincoln penny could be worth a staggering $1.2 million, if it's got that double die error. If you've got one, or you think you found one, don't just toss it aside. Take a close look, check for the double stamp, and see if you've got yourself a ticket to a possible windfall. And remember, this isn't just about coins. It's about staying informed, being patient, and knowing where to look. Coin collecting is an adventure, and you never know when the next big find might be hiding right in your pocket. If you want to learn more about how to spot valuable coins, where to sell them, and other rare finds that could make you a fortune, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. I'll be sharing more tips and tricks on how to turn your pocket change into cold, hard cash. Thanks for watching, and remember, don't let that penny slip through your fingers.